Oofda and a big Heidi Ho. I'm Fitz Koehler, your race announcer from the Fargo Marathon Week. And boy, did we have a wonderful time together. I'm back in Gainesville, Florida, and actually quite sad because I miss you all already. It's so sad because we had such a good time. So tonight we're going to gush about all the good stuff. And if you have comments, you want to share your favorite memories from the cyclothon or the 5K or the youth run or whatever you want to talk about, we want to talk about with you. And when I say we, I mean me and the man who makes all this magic happen, the one and only Mark Knudsen. Hey, Mark.
Hey, good evening. How are you?
I am great. How are you feeling? Have you recovered?
Yeah, I feel pretty great. We worked tirelessly till Saturday night, putting stuff away till about 9, and then woke up Sunday, couldn't sleep, so I was up back at the warehouse about 7 and just finishing up the last minute details, and then left, had a couple graduations to get to that afternoon for some friends, and then came home. I live in DL, about 45 minutes east of Fargo. So yeah, got home and getting back to normal.
So before we go, Mark, do you have earbuds that you could put into your computer?
I did, but I don't anymore. I'm sorry. Is it echoing again?
I get the echo. So yeah, I have to mute you when I talk. Oh, you just did it. Before we start reminiscing about all the good stuff, I want to ask you, because at almost all of my other races, my race directors are usually just kind of camped out at start and finish line on race day. They're just there, maybe schmoozing. I mean, obviously they're putting out fires in whatever way possible, but you are different. You're always in your work gloves and you're always on the go. Why is that? What's your philosophy behind race directing?
Well, I prefer to be there. Like, I prefer to be out on the course, and I just feel like if I can't throw a sandbag or push a porta potty around, I shouldn't expect anyone else to do it. But like on race morning, like, so the day of the marathon, the half marathon, 10K, it's just, I just want to get out in front of the runners and make sure that the roads are shut down properly. I mean, we have a lot of moving parts with our course. There's the downtown, and there's residential, and there's parks, and my biggest fear is one person goes off course, which you've heard that happen in many marathons, and so it makes me nervous. So I just want to make sure that it's it's set up properly. Last year, 2022, we took off in front of the half marathon, and like the first mile, my traffic control was gone. There wasn't anybody there to do traffic control. So I was a panic mode, and I swore that wasn't going to happen this year. So I was on it. But we have great people. It's just, sometimes people don't know, or sometimes a sign gets set up wrong or something. And so I don't know. I'm maybe too high strung, I guess. I just want to be out there, see what's going on.
Well, it's true leadership, and you're right. And when you're lifting stuff and pushing porta potties, nobody can look at you and be like, "Oh, he's highfalutin." But sometimes at the finish line, for example, when our champions come through, that dome turns into the most raucous place on earth for those few minutes. And I think, oh, I wish Mark were here to experience this, because there's pretty cool stuff happening at the finish line.
It is, for sure, and I have been there in the past, and so I know exactly what you mean. One time, I remember my dad and I holding up the finish line tape, which was super cool for the champion coming through, and yeah, I don't know. It's just evolved into this where I don't want to hear about something that was wrong on the course because I wasn't doing my job. And so yeah, we're up. Bill was with me. Remember Bill from the committee? We were out driving around Friday till about, I guess it was technically Saturday morning, about 1:30 in the morning, and then it's putting out cones and making sure everything's ready, and then it's, hey, you're up at 3:34 in the morning the next day. But I don't mind it. It's good.
Yeah, I know you don't. I'm a hard worker. So folks watching, use the comments section wherever you are to tell us what events you participated in this week. And I'm sure there's someone who did at least 6 of them. But yeah, let us know which races you participated in, and then you could tell us why you love them so well. And Mark, I figure we should get started at the start. Our first event was a bike race, so you want to give a little recap on that, and then also know that I have a race recap highlight reel for both Friday night and Saturday. So you guys are probably going to see your beautiful mugs on this screen at some point.
Cool. Yep. So yeah, we started the Fargo Cyclothon. Gosh, I think this is like our 6th year, 7th year. That kicks off Marathon Week. It was Monday night. Buffalo Wild Wings is our sponsor behind that, and we changed the course this year just to make it a little safer, a little easier to execute, and it was great. I mean, we had 300 bikes, which is actually 300 bikes that's a big bike race. 300 runners in a race is a modestly small run, but bikes are way different, as you know. So 300 of them peeling out at the same time was really cool. It was a good scene Monday night, and everything went really, really well. We do a 26.2 mile ride and then a 15-mile ride, and we had one accident. Somebody got hooked up on pedals with another biker, and they went down, but they were fine. I mean, and I was out there, of course, saw them out there, and the medics came and took care of him. He was fine. So, yep, it's a great race.
And then do people hang out at Buffalo Wild Wing after and just eat and drink and be merry?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I think Buffalo Wild Wings loves it because college is over. It's pretty quiet on a Monday night, but we fill it up with 200-300 people, and yeah, it's great.
And then Tuesday was the dog race. So tell us about the Fargo.
Again, this is something that just evolved about. Oh, I suppose we were about 12, 13 years into the race, into the Fargo Marathon. And, there were so many people that would ask, hey, can I have my dog run with me in the 5K or even in the 10K half marathon? And it just light bulb went off one day. I was like, well, let's have a dog run just for the dogs. And it's really done really well. Nutrisource is our sponsor for that. And the cool thing is, again, we everybody took a little dip because of COVID, but we're on the mend with that one too. That night there were a little over 300 people signed up for that. So that's a lot of dogs. The bike race is a lot of bikes, and 300 dogs is a lot of dogs. So they had a great time. It was a beautiful night. And that was the other thing too, is, as you know, the weather for every event we had was almost perfect. And oddly enough, we woke up Thursday morning and there was this hazy smoke in the air. The forest fires from Canada were wreaking havoc on the air conditions and the air quality. We woke up Thursday morning and we were nervous. The schools were bringing kids in for recess. They weren't letting them outside, and we were starting to get lots of texts and emails from people saying, "Are you going to cancel the kids' race tonight because of the air quality?" And I don't know what we did, but the good Lord above came in about 3 o'clock and spit some wind in our face and blew the smoke out of here, and it was out for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, I've been a part of races that have been canceled due to smoke billowing in from other places. In Monterey Half Marathon, due to the camp fires up in Northern California, and it's just really sad when people train and prepare and get excited about an event, and it's a health and safety issue. Obviously, not to let them run in dangerous conditions, but the conditions were beautiful in Fargo Thursday.
Yeah. Thursday was great. Of course, Friday it was kind of rainy, but in the morning, and then by 4 or 5 o'clock we start that race on Friday night at 6:30, and it was great. So yeah, we were very, very fortunate.
So not only did we have great weather, but the kids are flipping adorable. I mean, it's just such a fun night. Kayvon did a really good job entertaining the kids, and I'm going to give him extra kudos. He's from, you can tell everybody what gym he's from, but he was supposed to warm them up for about 30 minutes. And because the line, I guess people showed up a little late to pick up their bib, we pushed the race back 10 or so minutes. So he had to keep warming up and keep coming up with ideas of things to do. And he did a great job with the kids.
Yeah, the kids race is, it's priceless. I don't think I'll ever have as many kids as our buddy Gary Kuchar and OC, but But we try. We've had as many as 2,400 kids in that kids race, and it's just fun to see. They are so full of energy, and it's really a great way to kind of work into the race, the weekend of running races. We get the bikes out of the way, the dogs out of the way, and then the kids get everybody warmed up. So half mile, 1 mile, between the kids and the parents, or easily 1,000+ people out there that night.
Yeah, and it's not just kids, like you said. I mean, it's the families, and especially for the younger kids, it's I've been there. I know you've been there. Nothing's more proud than doing a whatever K with your kid. I mean, whatever it is, these people were beaming. It's so good for the community.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to see a comment from Randy Zimmerman there. He's a good friend from the western side of North Dakota, coached his daughter and her friend for their first marathon. That's kind of cool. I've seen that. Good job, Randy. Big supporter of the event. So yeah. But back to the kids. They're great. They don't care. And it's great for them because they're coming down. They actually get to see themselves on the jumbotron, which is it's priceless for kids.
Yeah, so our final finisher for the half K was this little baby. And when I say baby, I mean 13 months old perhaps, and just toddled up to the finish line, and thank goodness baby was wearing a fluffy jacket but went flat on her back. It was so cute.
Cool. Good stuff. Yep. No, and kudos to the parents, who get them out there, get them into the event. We all know where we're at with getting kids active, and obesity rates and things like that. We just need to keep pushing our kids and the next generation of marathon runners, and it starts with a 1 mile race. It's kind of cool because at 19 years, I think we talked about this in the pre-show, but we're 19 years in, so some of those kids that ran like the youth run 18 years ago, they're now 25 or whatever. And so they'll come and talk to me and go, oh yeah, I ran the second annual youth run, and I was only 8 years old, and now I'm done with college. And that's kind of cool. So
No, it's very cool. And for the families that are watching, if you brought your kid this year, obviously we expect you to bring your children back next year, but tell their classmates, tell the kids on their scout troops and on their teams. And this should be, Fargo's big enough. This should be a 5,000 person kid race. God help us. But what a good problem to have, right?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. It really could be and should be. And again, we had a couple thousand there back in our heyday, but we'll get back to it. I think just takes a little time. So.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you just got to ask people, spread the word. So, Sarah, I love this comment because, I've never been able to be on the course because I'm always at the start and finish line. And obviously Mark sees it, but across the country, the greatest reputation Fargo has is having such wonderful community support. Everybody says your locals are so great and supportive.
Yeah, I mean, it's the community that really makes this race. They are so good. I remember the first year we had the race. I've told this story 1,000 times, but it snowed in 2005. We had snow on the ground, and it was windy. It was cold. I mean, I don't think it even topped 40 degrees. And it's the first year of the event, and I'm just like sick to my stomach thinking nobody's gonna want to run Fargo again. We're gonna be a laughing stock, and nobody's gonna come out and cheer. And then very next morning, on front page of the local newspaper, there's people lined up on residents lined up on A Street in parkas, and one lady has a pot and a spoon. And I'm like, okay, we live in a different place in Fargo and Moorhead, so people care about what's going on. So yeah, they're so good, and the music on the course is amazing. The people have their parties, and we're blessed with that. I mean, people really embrace it in both Fargo and Moorhead.
Wow, you've done a wonderful job fostering that kind of love and community support.
Yeah. There's my folks making a comment. Yep. Yeah, my parents have been at all 19, and they helped me get Illinois Marathon going, and they've been at Wonder Woman races, and yeah, they've been at all of them. they're the best. And my sisters are there. Lisa was there this year. Lori wasn't able to make it, but it's a family affair. They've all been part of it and made it successful. Great. So grateful for them.
Absolutely. Did your parents come out to Wonder Woman Washington? Is that where I met them, or was that in California?
I think it was Arizona, actually, Phoenix. Yeah, when we were in Tempe, they were at that one. Yeah.
Okay. What do I know? What do I know? All right. So do you want to go to the 5K?
Yeah, for sure. So Friday night 5K. Again, beautiful, beautiful night for that 5K. It's settled. It settled down. The weather settled down on Friday night, and gosh, it was amazing. Our course was really, really good this year. Last year I had some issues with the course, just challenging with a couple of road closures, but this year it was perfect. Hats off and thank you to NDSU for allowing us to run through the campus like they did. And there's some roads there that go out and come back, so the people can see each other in a 5K, and it's really exciting that way. And it was a beautiful night. The 5K continues to always impress me. I think we were around 2,800 people in that event, so that's a good 5K. That's a lot of people, and get the benefit of starting and finishing in the dome, and like everyone else. And it just, it's fun. So, and thanks to Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Dakota, and then Noridian Healthcare Solutions, they teamed up for that one. They were out on the course cheering. They were helping at the finish line with medals, and so they were really a great part of it.
The other thing about Blue Cross Blue Shield North Dakota and Noridian is I think we have possibly inspired a race between their CEOs, Dean and John. So I want to let you know that they may throw down next year.
There you go. I'll challenge them all to the marathon. Let's go. Step up.
Think big. Okay. How about we see the 5K highlight reel? You want to watch that?
For sure. That'd be great.
Here we go.
Super cool. Yep, that was like I said, great night. You saw some of those shots from outside. It was beautiful sunny night. I don't know, about 60 degrees, so perfect night for a 5K. And I love how you just jump down in there and you're running with people across the finish line. And there are announcers, and then there's Fitz, and you're just part of it. You just embrace it, and you talk about me out with gloves and throwing sandbags and doing all that, and you don't just stand on the podium and yell at people coming in. You're down in the trenches with them. So I love it. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And like you, I'm absolutely obsessed with our athletes, and I just have to give them hugs and, hopefully make them feel a little more special, getting a little up close and personal, right?
Absolutely. Yep. Yep. That's what it's all about. It's a great time. It's a feel good moment, and camaraderie is amazing in these races.
So, some of my favorites from the 5K is, first of all, Isabel, 15 years old. She was our athlete in the chair. I believe she did the 5K and the half marathon.
She did. Yep. Correct. Yep.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah. She held on really, really well in the 5K. You know, for 15 years old. I mean, she held about somewhere about a 5 to 5:30 pace. That's hard. You know, I know you've had like, oh, she's in a wheelchair. Yeah. Do you know how hard that is to crank your arms like that for 3 miles? She did great. It was really fun. It was fun to kind of watch her, and she's just like a trooper. And there's a couple times I had to go jump off the um, uh, motorcycle and fix a couple things on the course, and she just followed the path. She knew exactly where to go. So.
Yeah, she's a fantastic athlete. I could see her racing Boston and winning it one day. That's going to be I'm going to call that, Mark, that one day she goes and wins Boston.
There you go. Love it. 10 years.
That's it, Isabella. And then also I love that the 5K, in fact, all the races are a little bit of everything. They're every race, every religion, every gender, every fitness level, every side. It's just this perfect mishmash of reality, right? And so many people think, oh, I can't do a 5K, and they're I can't run. Well, the pictures we showed, most of those people were walking. It's just y'all come have a wonderful stroll through 5K through Fargo. If you want to go fast, fine. If you want to go slow, fine. So many people are just holding hands and chatting with their favorite person. It's just such a wonderful, healthy event.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've always told people whether stand at the finish line or stand at mile 25 of a marathon, or mile 12 of a half marathon, or mile 2 of the 5K, and if just be inspired, because like you said, you see everything from soup to nuts, and some people that you just wouldn't even think would be out there getting it done. And so yeah, it is a good one, and the 5K is a great one. It's a great entry level race. If you're new to running or just want to walk it, it's a perfect race to be in.
So one of my other favorites, I have a few favorites. You're going to have to deal with me, but I always pick favorites. So one of our wounded veterans, his name is Rob. I didn't get to spend much time with him, but he came by. He was decked out in full camo and a camo hat, and he was missing, I believe, the lower half of his right leg, but he did the whole thing on crutches, and gave him a warm welcome. Again, I wish I would know his backstory a little more, but I got a message after the race from one of his friends that said he was beaming with pride. He had the best night, and everyone was so supportive of him.
That's fantastic, and what a great weekend. Of course, it was Armed Forces Day on Saturday, so it was nice to do a shout out to all of our past and present military personnel, and what a fitting tribute, like you said, for him to be able to do that on Friday night. So super.
Yeah. He was great. I believe he was there last year too. I'm not sure, but I believe he was. So then one of the last pictures of that 5K video is of Lois, who Lois did the 5K with her daughter and her granddaughter, and Lois was 92.
92, really? Wow. Okay. Well, she's got Willie Nelson beat by two years.
Yeah, and she did it with her daughter and the granddaughter. They went, got their medals, and then they reversed course, walked out through the dorm, or through the dome. They were going across the street to Buffalo Wild Wings, and they weren't driving.
Wow, good for them. That's amazing. Again, 92. I mean, it's the race that anybody can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and then the other group is OCCRI. I wish I knew what those letters stood for. You might know what that's called, but they had dozens and dozens of athletes with special needs, and man, they were hardcore, and they had so much fun, and it was a real privilege to welcome them through the finish line.
Yeah, CCRI. We have a great relationship with that group, and they bring 50 to 150 of their clients every year. We actually we let them in for free because they that's a huge accomplishment for them to be part of that, and they're just very special people, and I love it when they show up. So yeah, CCRI and Fargo Marathon have had a long-standing good relationship. So proud of all of them.
Yeah. Well, thank you for inviting them, welcoming them for free. It's a life-changing opportunity, and not, quite often folks with disabilities don't get invited, right? They get a little bit isolated and lack opportunity. So very special. Thank you.
Cool. Yep. Good stuff.
Yeah. And then my last 5K person I would like to mention is Jim Puppy, who I met in our hotel at breakfast. And he was gushing over how much he loved you and how he thinks you're so great. And this race series is so great. And he comes in every year, but he wasn't registered for anything. And so I bullied him. I said, Jim, you gotta register. And he did. And he did a great job.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. Yeah. I think we've seen Jim in there before. Yeah. Many times. Yeah.
Yeah, he, like I said, a big fan of yours. So congratulations. 5K was fantastic.
Yep, very good.
And then Saturday morning, what would you like to share about that?
Boy, Saturday. Yeah, Saturday was again. You remember we did the pre-show with you, and we were talking about the forecast, and I'm Mr. pessimistic when it comes to weather forecasts. So I just like, don't say a word to me. Don't look at the weather forecast. Don't. Let's just look at it on Friday night at about 9 o'clock at night and see how it's going to be. But man, I don't. Out of 19 years, definitely the best weather year we've ever had in Fargo. In the 19 years we've been doing this, and so that for those people who have put events on weather dependent, whether it's a concert or it's an expo or a trade show or a fundraiser of some sort, the weather, when the weather is great, it makes everything else manageable. Things can always go wrong, but if it was raining and cold and windy, then it would have been really challenging, as everybody knows. But having great weather was good for everybody, and it wasn't just sunny. It was calm. The wind was calm. The humidity was low. Yeah, we were just blessed beyond belief with perfect weather. So that was a good way to start Saturday morning. We kicked off, as you know, the half marathon first at 7:30. The full marathon went at 7:45, and then the 10K at 8. Yeah, it was. I didn't, having jumped out in front of the half marathon, like I said earlier, to try and see what was happening with the course, wanted to make sure that everything was set up properly. Everybody looked really good. The traffic control was in place. The bands were in place. Yeah, downtown was cool. We had really good volunteers out there. We had people from the committee. I had them at key intersections, just kind of making sure things were flowing properly. And yeah, it was great. I mean, we had that morning close to 6,000 people hit the streets of Fargo and Moorhead, and that's a lot. You got a half marathon going this way, and a marathon going that way, and a 10K going that way, and so there are a lot of moving parts. The marathon week is 7 days of squirrel moments. That's what it is.
That's hilarious. And I can tell you that the weather worked because there were so many PRs and so many BQs, and people have PR face. It's one of those things I've learned is who has a PR at the moment. They come through and it's PR face. I can't describe it. And sometimes it's shouting and fist pumping, but lots of PRs.
Yeah, tons of PRs. And, from a medical standpoint, I was actually maybe a little worried it might get a tish warm, but the low humidity was great. And I checked with our medical director afterwards. I think they had, transported maybe 3 people into to medical care, and they were released, pretty quickly. They were fine. It was just a little bit of heat exhaustion after their marathon or half marathon. So 3 out of 6,000 is a pretty good number.
Yeah, I'd say most race directors would kill for that. Folks, at this time, use the comment section wherever you are to tell us what your absolute favorite part of your race experience was at the Essentia Health Fargo Marathon. So use that comment section. And Mark, I'm going to play the highlight reels. That sound good?
Yep.
Saturday.
Wow, what a cool video. Those are some great, I haven't even seen any of those pictures yet. So those are, you must have a line with our folks from Motive and the marketing people.
I'm resourceful. I'm resourceful.
I guess. Yeah, no, those are great pictures. And you see the beautiful sun, natural daylight. It was perfect. So yeah, the crowd support, Marla just commented. I mean, it's great. The city's embraced this like you can't believe. So yeah, it's been great. Yep.
So what are the flower power pots?
You know, I think I saw those on 9th Street. I honestly don't know. I don't know what those are. Somebody had a very creative idea, but I do remember driving on 9th Street. It's down by the courthouse and seeing that. And you know, in a flash, it's one of those squirrel moments I was talking about, but very cool.
So where do you get all the bands?
We have been, we've been doing bands, we're 19 years. We've been doing bands for like the last 13 years. We've just built up that kind of, it's like a standard every year that a lot of the same bands, they'll tell other bands, they call me. We strategically kind of place them at different homes. We send out mailers and say, who wants to host a band? And people will get in touch with me. We want to host a party, want to host a band. So it's a win-win for everybody. Yeah, it's great.
Well, it's very popular. And then Elvis, Danny Elvis, he's pretty spectacular. The Fargo Elvis impersonator.
Yeah, he's pretty amazing. I'm so glad. Last year we decided to bring him into the finish line, and what there's not a better photo op than getting your photo at the finish line with Elvis. I mean, it's pretty fantastic. Danny, I should say Elvis. He has been part of the marathon for forever that I can remember. But he was always out on the course, and usually like one of the mile markers and playing music and high-fiving people. And I think that was it 2019, right before we went into COVID 2019. It was a miserable day. I mean, it was the 180-degree spin of what we had this year. It was rainy, it was 40 degrees, it was cool, windy, and he's sitting at mile 25 for, I swear, 6 hours, just hammering out Elvis. I don't know, he must have had pneumonia afterwards, because he's just there high-fiving like Elvis would do, having a great time. And then, like I said, last year I was talking to him, like, he had this Cadillac last year, and I'm like, okay, I think we should bring that into the Fargo Dome. That'd be a great backdrop, for photo ops. And yeah, and I'm glad you guys connected last year, and it's been a fun relationship to see. So
So he is, I mean, he's such a gentleman. What a decent human is for starters. He's such a good guy. But I learned more and more because he is so great, and we really like each other, so we connect, especially for the silly photos. I mean, the kicking him photos is because Elvis loved martial arts. I didn't do martial arts, but I used to competitively kickbox. So I'm like, can I kick you? He's like, sure, kick
Yeah.
me. But I learned some things with my little investigative skills. So that suit he wears is so beautiful, and he has multiple. Because again, he does this professionally. That suit is custom made. It's thousands of dollars for each individual one of his Elvis outfits, which is a big investment. And then he has he's moved. He has a second home, and he brought his classic cars to the other state. So he actually purchased that old Lincoln Town Car for your event like this week. So we had it for the marathon.
I know he told me that too. He was because he when I talked to him, he said I don't have my Cadillac. He said, but I think I can find a car. And sure enough, he shows up with a car, and then like you said, he tells me the next day, yeah, I bought it. I just bought it because I needed it, for the event. And I'm like, you bought it? What are you gonna do with it? He goes, well, I kind of collect them, and I don't know, maybe I'll sell it afterwards. I don't, it's kind of a thing for me. So yeah, I mean that just you can't. I mean, how do you top that? I mean, just the guy is committed to the event. He loves it. He enjoys it so much, and yeah, he goes all over the place. He's big in Branson. Does shows down in Branson a lot. It's done Vegas shows. He's top notch.
Absolutely. And so if anybody loves Elvis, check him out. He actually has CD. He sings his own music too. It's Danny Elvis or Dan Wagner, and he's a total prince. And one of the things you didn't get to see is, so once I kicked off all three of the races and it was just me and the spectators, I went and got Elvis and brought him over. And on my playlist, my mix, an Elvis song happened to come on. And so I gave him the microphone and he sang to everybody.
Oh, perfect. How great is that? Yeah,
So
gosh, was it 20? I think it was 2018. We actually had a wedding at the start line. This was before, I think it was before you. Were you there for that one?
no.
Okay, so yeah, I can't remember who the announcer was, but obviously it wasn't you because I would have remembered that. But yeah, we had a wedding at the start line, and it was a couple of 50 state marathon maniac people, and Danny got up and sang, sang a song to him after they got married at the finish line, at the start line before the race started. So that was pretty cool.
That was pretty classic, and kind of the only thing that you can get in Fargo. Like there's all these little quirky niche things you have, and that would certainly be one of them, right?
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
Do you have a recording? Oh, I don't think I have a recording of him singing this weekend. I have some photos of him singing, but no video. No video. Let's see. Maureen, 77th full marathon.
Cool.
Oh, Canada.
Yeah.
Canada.
Yeah.
How many Canadians did we have this weekend? Do you know?
I guess I didn't look at the download of Canadians, but we generally get a great showing from Canada, and it's so good that COVID is behind us now, and they come back and run, and it's been so nice to have them being part of it, which is why we try to do, we love to do the Canadian national anthem and welcome the Canadians to Fargo, and there's some really good runners. They have a good race up in Winnipeg in about a month up there. So it's very similar, very flat, very very bottom of the glacier lake type of thing. But so they're great participants. They're great to be part of the event. They're very courteous and always grateful to us for the race. Yeah.
Yes. And as a Floridian, I am very familiar with Canadian loves because all the Canadians come down in January and February to Florida.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm.
Canada and Michigan, all in Florida, which I love. I got no problem with that. And then for Maureen, thank you. We had a good turnout for the strength training for runners workshop. And so I'm hoping all of those people will do what I told them to do so they can run further, faster, pain-free.
Yep, absolutely. That was really cool to be 12 of us left in the full marathon charter club. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I think next year we have to get them like a fancy hat or a sash or something. So, especially since it's 20 years, so I can definitely give all of your legacies some big love and recognize them as they come towards me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm thinking some nice jackets of some sort that 20 years Fargo, 20 years of going far, or whatever it is. So
Uh-huh. So there was a question, where are the photos available? You can find them at nmotive.com. Thank you, Cody, for sharing that. Yeah,
Cody was one of our pacers. He's a local runner in Fargo. Great runner, really solid. Fast when he wants to be fast, but paced this weekend, and appreciate our pacers. They do an amazing job.
yeah, and they were all in on the money. It's there's a lot of stuff I can understand in the world. It's like the fax machine and pacing, getting doing, promising to do a marathon in 3:45 and doing it in 3:45. I will never understand, but they were awesome. They really did a fantastic job, and they were on the money.
Yep, for sure. Jackets would be awesome. All right, Maureen, let's make it happen.
So what do you have up your sleeve for 20? You don't have to share.
Double top secret right now. Yeah.
Okay.
You may or may not like it. We'll have to see.
Okay. You know what? As long as I'm a part of it, I like it.
Yeah. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. 20 years. I mean, that's a long time to do the race. And, it's like my son, Cade, is 19 now. He'll be 20. It's just, he was born in March, a couple months before the first marathon. I can remember, having to go do this race, and his mom is like, "What are you doing? We got a baby to take care of." I'm like, "I got to put a race on." So,
do you know when the dates will be?
Within the next week. Yeah, within the next week. We're working on that right now, between the city of Fargo, Fargo Dome, Ventures. But yeah, there are a lot of moving parts for 2024. But I'm hopeful we'll have an announcement here within the next week, as well as a pre-registration. So yep.
Wonderful. Is there anything else you would like to share?
I guess there's always little things that don't go right, and they didn't take away from the event. But one thing was our bag drop was very congested at the end, and we had a volunteer group that was going to show up and help, and they were unable to help us. So the people that were in there were just like, my girlfriend was in there. It was like random. Everybody jumped in to help. We had National Guard people were amazing. I had some people that work with me in Detroit Lakes that came in and helped out. So I apologize to those people that had to wait in line for a little bit longer than expected to get their bag afterwards. Happy to say that we only had 3 bags left over, so 3 out of 5,000 bags wasn't too bad. They're sitting right behind me, so if anybody's still missing their bag, I have them. So that was that, and then of course Saturday night we talked about this, the 27th mile party, and I'll take the blame for that, because we had a 27th mile party last year. As you recall, we were down there, and this year it had to be canceled this year for a variety of reasons, and I was under the impression it had been removed from our website, but I found out obviously that day that it hadn't been. So my apologies to everybody that did show up downtown, because they saw it on the website. I felt really bad, but hopefully you were downtown Fargo, and there's a lot of things happening in downtown Fargo, as Fitz. So with the exception of not being able to see Guys and Dolls playing, I think the people probably had a good time if you were in downtown Fargo on Saturday. It was a beautiful night. I heard there were just tons of people, and I would have liked to have been there, but I was in a warehouse sweating it out and huffing sandbags and putting mile markers away.
Yeah, I'm hoping everybody finds something wonderful to do, because there's a lot of wonderful things to do down there, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's hopping. It was definitely hopping that night.
Well, I would like to play our Saturday video again on the way out. Yeah, thank you for all of your hard work, Mark. I mean, you're tireless about it, not only in the 365 days before race day, but throughout the entire week, and it shows.
Well, and like I told you, for those that don't know that, the what goes on behind closed doors, it's almost to a fault, because there's a lot of things I should be communicating to you, and I don't. Like, so Friday morning we have a press conference, and I tell Fitz at like 10 o'clock, and she's like, oh, what press conference? So, okay, boom, there she is. But, and then race day, it just, you get so wrapped up in the event and getting out on the course and making sure everything's okay. But the beauty of it is, you are the ultimate professional when it comes to this. So I never really worry about it. I feel bad if I don't give you the information you need, but you just roll with it, which is great. So I'm so grateful for that. I never, oh shoot, I forgot to do something, but like we had the kids race, and I was out, closing a couple of roads, and I was just waiting for the kids, or the 5K, and I don't need to be there to kick it off. I know you guys got it. The committee that works with me is amazing. Some of them 19 years. Our friend Dave Bowe, retiring after this year, 19 years of leading the marathon on his motorcycle, and just fantastic. So great stories. But yeah, our committee is amazing. Those people are tireless too during the week, and everybody just jump in and get it done every year. So
yeah, and there's so many moving parts. I think it's interesting. Sometimes people say, blah, 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 you're a race director. And I say, wait a minute. So I am not. That is a way harder job than what I do. But I know you're always striving for perfection, but with a million moving parts, if it's a 99%, then, to me, I deem it a pretty monstrous success.
Yeah, good stuff. So a quick, thank you to everybody who was part of the event, whether you're a volunteer or sponsor or spectator or participant. Huge thank you to Essentia Health for continuing to believe in this event, and being great partners for us. The city of Fargo, the city of Moorhead. So everybody, just I could talk for another hour talking about all the different people involved. But so thanks to everybody, and thanks to you. And yeah, we'll close the chapter for one more year, and we'll probably open it up here in another week or so.
Well, thank you, Mark, and congratulations again. And everybody keep an eye on when registration opens, and we will see you in Fargo in 24, right?
You got it.
All right.